Today we're talking about the new ACSD Risk Adjusted Dashboard Report, available now on the Operational Reports page. Once I'm on the Operational Reports page, I can click on this new ACSD Risk Adjusted Dashboard Report, and it will take me to the parameters page of that report. Using the drop-down, I select the time period that I'm interested in viewing, and I apply those parameters so that I can generate the report for that time period. Once the report loads, you'll see a landing page that has the different sections of the report that we used to receive via that big paper packet. And then underneath each section are the procedures for each one of those. We'll take a view of each report and talk through it. Starting with the quality ratings report, clicking that button takes us to the quality ratings report, where we see in the top section there is a tabular display of our values along with our star rating. Down below is the graphical representation of that data. And as you see here, we have a slider bar, so areas that appear small when the graph is set to its max zoom, we can zoom in and start seeing that area a little better and see that now I can clearly see where my score fell within the confidence interval and relative to the STS score. As you see here in the legend, the light blue areas represent the min and max areas. The dark blue area is the confidence interval, black line is my site, and the red dotted line is the STS site. You can right click on the zoom bar and reset zoom, so that way your graph is set back to its zoomed out position, so that when we talk about printing, we can print it either when it's reset to its max zoom, or if we zoomed in and we wanted to leave that, that's how this report would print when we get to that. I'll describe that a little more. By clicking the home button, you're taken back to the home page. Next is the quality ratings details report, which is a tabular display of the different areas along with the counts and the percent of morbidity and failure. Clicking on this count will return the details of that row below. I'm working in a test environment and a test facility, that's why we're not seeing any details here. But clicking this row would have generated those two patients down below. Going back to home, I'm now going to go to the ratings trends report. And this is that star report that we're used to seeing broken down by domain. As we get more harvest periods in, we will see this grow into, currently we have the 2019, but we would see 2020 and so forth. So this is meant to be a trending view. Going back home and now going to one of our NQF reports, clicking on this cabbage process measures, again, we're presented with the same tabular display at the top section, and then the bottom section has the graphical details of that. Clicking a row in the NQF measures for a domain will return the details for that row. So once we click the row, we would click on See Details, and we would be presented with that list. Again, I'm in a test environment, so those details are not loaded here. Clicking back to graphs will take us back to that graphical display. And going home once again, and now onto the risk-adjusted variables. So clicking on the risk-adjusted variable, I am now taken to this tabular display of values by the different areas. So for the isolated cabbage, we have the mortality risk adjustment, complications risk adjustment, and the length of stay risk adjustment. Within each section are the different outcomes and the statistics for each one of those outcomes. There's a legend at the bottom to help decipher what those terms mean. And again, clicking the home button will take me back to that home page. The export report button allows us to print this entire report with all of the subreports in one swoop by clicking the export report button. And that will generate the PDF pages and package that up similar to how we used to get the paper report. So once that downloads here and we open the file, you'll see it's all the pages of this report now together for us in one PDF package that we can share with other people on our team. One thing to note, as I called out previously, if I had adjusted the zoom slider and zoomed in on this graph, it would have maintained that zoom, so that way you would get that in your export. So if it's desired to have a zoom in your export, set your zoom slider and click the export button. Similarly, as I clicked on a row to generate those details, had there been details here, clicking that row and activating that would have included that in my export. So if we don't want to include patient details from our export, then we need to simply click outside of the table to deactivate that row, or refreshing the report by going out and reapplying the parameters also resets the report so that you will not have any selections made. That gets us through the PDF printout. This report can also be printed using other means. Simply click the three dots, go to File, and you can export to PowerPoint. The options for your PowerPoint export should be unchecking all of this and print it for all pages. By making that and clicking OK, again you'll have the PowerPoint pulled together, and it will we would have tabs here, another tab here at the bottom showing that report, and once it loads I can click on that and we can take a quick peek at that report also. The other option for export is when you're within the table, you can right click within any table and export that table to Excel. The output isn't as presentable as it is via these other two means using the PowerPoint or PDF. But if you're just looking to do some quick analysis on the numbers, then the Excel export could work for you. So what I mean is, going in here, I can right click anywhere in this table and export to table. You can also choose the Excel export, but you'll get the same kind of export if you do the export table option, and you'll be required to make less selections as you would if you did the Microsoft Excel export. So it's more preferred to, if you're looking to export a table, to export the table using that export option. Now that the PowerPoint has printed, I'll just open that real quick to show you guys here that we now have a nice PowerPoint presentation of the report. And as you can see here, every page is printed nicely, and we can also share now this PowerPoint for other folks on our team. That is the conclusion of the video. Thank you so much. Have a great day.